So, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Mr. Soul Lover Man, we are back, baby. We are back. Welcome back. So, yeah, we are back on on a very cloudy, dreary day weather-wise. It's been raining a whole lot here, man. So, I'm kind of over the rain. So, if it doesn't rain for the rest of the summer, I think I'd be good, for real. But it is that time of year, so ladies and gentlemen, again, I'm Mr. Sullivan, man. Welcome. So today we are just kind of vibing. We are on the topic of just talk to a spiritual consultant because that is who I am. That is one of the things that I do. It is within the nutshell of that umbrella of a lot of my spiritual gifts that I use to go ahead and help the good people out there around the world and back again and again and again. Let's see. Hold on for a second. Yeah. Let's see if I can. Hmm. We're just gonna let that trudge up. But I hope everybody out there is. I hope. Well, my hope is that everybody out there is having a. My hope out there is that everybody is having a pretty cool week. You know. I know it is only Tuesday. We are getting through it to get to it, and it feels like time is moving. It really feels like time is moving exponentially, very fast. It really and truly is. And I know it's like it's like the week gets here, and we can't wait for the weekend. But within that, we can't really rush life and all of that good stuff, man. But welcome in, folks. Y'all come on in, and y'all come on in. Come on in and make yourselves at home. And that's like I said once again today. We are diving into talk to uh, this thing is just not trying to cooperate. Let me see. There we go. So yeah, but today there we go. So yeah, so today we are talking about talk to a spiritual consultant out there. Let me see something. Let's move that. All right, there we go. Yeah, so today we're talking about talk to spiritual consultant, and as I use my spiritual gifts and all my insights to help you guys out, and whatever it is that you know you may have going on, and all of that good stuff, man. And yeah, the spiritual journey is one. As I always said, the spiritual journey is not for the weak of heart. And is it easy going live doing this? I mean, for me, I don't know. I just for me when I go live, I want to be excited. I want to be purposeful when I go live. I want to come on here and have I would love for it to be interactive, but I know it takes time to build the audience and all of that stuff like that. For me, honest, sometimes I get a little bored. I do, but hey, I come on here. I try to be as consistent as possible. I come on here and do what it is that I do, and and keep it moving. But happy Tuesday out there, wherever you are and whatever you are doing, and all of that good stuff. And if this is your first time watching yours truly, don't forget to subscribe, man. Do not forget to subscribe. So, and again, I hope everybody out there is doing well and great and amazing, and and all of that good stuff. So, and nothing else, remember to keep your head to the sky. Always, prayer does change things. It can. So one important thing, one important thing that I've learned on my journey is no matter what, to keep pressing forward. Is it easy? Sometimes no, but it's like a man said in that Men in Black movie. He said, is it worth it? He said, yeah, yeah, if you're strong enough. But that's the thing. You have to develop. You have to you develop a lot of strength in doing this. And you learn that a lot of things that you've heard about in those bedtime stories are real. Because let's just be honest, in the times that in the times that we're living in, because a lot of people are talking about these things. People are seeing things in the sky, and and in the water, and all. People are talking about their dreams, and and uh you know astral projection, and all that. So some people, some people and their sensitivity to the great beyond, they're evolving. And a lot of folks, and I will agree, a lot of folks are saying that the veil, they're saying that the veil is very, very, very thin. Yeah, so there, a lot of people out there are saying that the veil is like super, super, super thin, man. Oh, give me a second, folks. Let me see if I can get this thing working here. Let me see. All right. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. But how are you guys out there on this? How are you guys out there on this big old Tuesday? Like I said, here, it's been really, the weather has been, yeah. It's been like really, really, really. This weather has been weathering, man. Like seriously, it has been. It's been really rainy, but I am, just to let y'all know, I am an author, amongst other things, and please check out my books. You can check out my website, www.soulofaman504.com. And I need to remember to keep promoting that stuff, but yeah. And I don't like, if somebody were to ask me like, would I change, would I change anything about like my journey? I don't know. Um, I don't know if I would, because like a lot of the help, for me, I could say, hey ma'am, hey, how are you? So for me, I'll say like a lot of the help that I've had on my journey has been like, it's been spiritual. It's been ancestors, and it's been angels, and it's been God, and so on and so forth. So it's been a lot of, from the on a lot of on the other side, so to speak. That's those have been my helpers. Those have been my guides. Those have been my friends. So I like how some people say, oh, my grandmother practiced this, or my grandfather was blah, blah. Maybe they were. Who's to say? But by the time I, you know like a lot of my gifts really started to trigger, I started to remember, they had checked out of here. So it was just little old me. Not to say that I haven't had people, which I do, but a majority of your journey in your lifetime, or lifetime, just really and truly, it's going to be you. It is really and truly going to be you. fake, just like life. You're like, oh man, something happened, and how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? Hey, how are you on today? So, and don't forget to give me the thumbs up, folks, and don't forget to subscribe. So, you might say, like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? And you feel one thing about your journey, you get stronger. You continue to get stronger. And I man, one thing about church is that it would have been nice if they would have, like, kind of clued us in more into the spiritual side of things, to say, like, oh yeah, so like, read this passage in the Bible to help you with this, or read this in the or your your connection with God is everything. And through that, you get stronger, and your prayer life gets stronger, and you really and truly find more meaning, instead of just, come to church, pay your tithes, we'll pray, and good luck with your life during the week. Like, shit, that's what it felt like. Like, for me, that's what it felt like. And nothing against the church, but I always felt like I always felt like it had a glass ceiling. You really, like, when you're dealing with church, you have to really flow by the Spirit. Also, when you're dealing with other people too on this journey, I think that's why, it sometimes it feels like it's like a I don't know, like a head on collision, where you're dealing with people, because there's not a lot of trust out there. I mean, to be honest, a lot of people don't really know what they're doing. A lot of people aren't healed. They just, a lot of people, they have like this basic intuition. They go get some cards, and they just they they're giving people a lot of uh like very low surface level fluff. But hey, I'm not want to call out any names, because I'm not about the beefs and all of that nonsense. And you know how it goes these days. If you have an opinion about somebody or something, and it doesn't come out right to a lot of people, you're a hater. So I just leave it up to people to use their discernment. I know that for me, I am, I know I'm not for everybody, and that's okay. I am an acquired taste. I am, so I am the meal you go to a restaurant and ask about, and I'm not on the menu. That's just what that is. So, and that's just, that's what that is, and that's just naturally how that goes. Took me a while to come to terms with that, and to come to grips with that, like, being different. Um, oh, hey, how are you? So, oh, hey, happy birthday. Birthday on a big old Tuesday, man. Isn't that something else? But yeah, man. But yeah, happy happy B day to you. Uh it'd be nice if our birthdays could just roll around on a Saturday, like every year, like a Friday, or Saturday, or a Sunday, or something like that. Just. But hey, it is what it is. We're thankful to be here, and we're happy that you can enjoy your day in some capacity. However you're going to go out and do that. Maybe you enjoyed it over the weekend, before the work weekend, and all of that good, stuff like that. Yeah. So, but I think since I really think since 2020, a lot of us have developed, like, tougher skin to really deal with a lot. I just feel like, I feel like some of us have evolved. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's cool. Yeah. The weather here has been kind of blah. So, soon as it clears up, I'll because I know when Juneteenth is Friday, I think, maybe third Friday. something like that. So I know I would like to get to the if the weather permits. I like to go to the. I would love to go to the beach this weekend, man, and just go and have fun. Like seriously, it's good to get outside and be in nature, man, and just be able to just just really just be able to breathe, man. I like going to the beach when it's not a whole lot of people around, and I can just focus on just meditate, focus on the water, man, and just enjoy the day. But as soon as all the people start coming, I leave. So I don't know, man. Something about I don't know what it was about 2020. It just really like as far as just I used to like love going to concerts and all that stuff. I don't really like doing that stuff anymore. Just being around a bunch of people. I think it's just sometimes it's just the energy. I'll still go. I'll still go out, but yeah, it's moving forward. It's a lot of like fine tuning the it's really like fine tuning the little things. It's like really and truly like I don't know, just it because I feel like another. I know you might say, "Oh man, another ship." Yes, really and truly feels like another, like spiritually speaking, like another massive shift is coming, and um, yeah, it feels like if it really does feel like another massive shift is coming, really and truly, and some things have to break to be broken. Um, and some it's really like some of these relationships and all of these things kind of like caught you off guard, but it feels like a breath of fresh air coming through where where it doesn't feel like all apocalyptic. Like people are going to see you, and don't forget to subscribe, folks, and don't forget to give me the thumbs up. Yeah, so it doesn't feel all like it doesn't feel all apocalyptic. It feels like a breath of fresh air coming through for you in your life where um people are going to be able to see you for your gifts and see that you're gifted in certain things, and you're going to be able to be elevated. You're going to be able to be elevated from that. Only takes one yes, one opportunity, one door to open. So I was and it's okay for you to be it's your life. It's okay for you to say yes to these opportunities that you deserve them for the work for the work that you have put in, because you really and truly put in a lot of work. Sometimes a lot of people don't a lot of people don't see that. Everybody, I'm gonna reiterate this, everybody's not supposed to have everybody's not supposed to have access to your life. Especially when you feel supercharged, when you feel like you have all of this amazing grace over your life, when you when things are just going superiorly swimmingly for you, like really and truly. Like people say, oh man, how do you like I saw this guy um on social media. He's like, he had a post. He said, "Well, people are asking me, how do you jump on all? You're always traveling and jumping on planes, and where you getting like, where you getting the money to do this? Would it be nice if people came forward and said, oh, I moved out of the country. This is how I did it. But that's kind of far few and in between where people kind of give you that free game, that free advice. It's easy to say like, oh, hey, move to, go to a go, go find a different, when there's no how in doing it. People will say like, oh, go, go start your own, when there's no really like how and like how what how am I supposed to do that? Seriously, like it to and but it's crazy to say that it's really up to you to go out. It's like really and truly up to you to go and find this information, incorporate this information. AI is cool, but you still got to do the work. Like AI can help smooth over certain things and all of that stuff like that, but you still have to go out and do the work. You still have to do the research. Um, you still have to get out and you still have to get out in front of the right people and all of that good, and all of that good stuff like that. And on the back end, that they're still like your spiritual stuff, that you could do, that you should be doing. But hey, it's up to you. I am. I'm never one to force. I'm never one to force my beliefs on other people. How you do it is how you do it. Oh hey, how are you? It's like it's like how it's like how you uh how you move in life is how you move in life. This could be based on how you were brought up, how you formulate ideas, friendships, family, so on and so forth. But how you do that is up to you. But the beautiful thing is that yes, I am. Yes, it's a rainy Tuesday over here, but how you invoke these things into your life is it's up to it's how you do that, and there's no like one tried and true way, and that's the beautiful thing about it is as we continue to go, we're learning, we're growing, we're developing our own ways, our own paths, and how we do these things, but it's great that we have social media, the internet, and it's a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff we can research on our own, and sometimes we may need help with things. That's what it is. Everybody out here is not gonna be able to fly a plane. You need to go to the airport to get somewhere. Everybody's not gonna know how to build a car engine. You know what I mean? Like seriously, like we know how to get in a car, put gas in it, maybe do the little things here and there, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. But the important thing is that there are endless and infinite amounts of possibilities and how you manifest and how and your pray and believe and all of that good stuff like that. It's through trial and sometimes little error, but some you get to levels where and I'm still getting there myself. It's where you get to levels where you start speaking and thinking and writing stuff down and all of that good stuff, and stuff starts to really show itself in your life, and you have help too. That's why your ancestors are there, your angel guides are there. These are your benefactors in a sense. They're there watching over you. They're there waiting, like, okay, give us something to do. Like, what do you want? you know, it's a lot of sometimes it's, look at it like business. It's real and true. It's like you're writing down, you're writing out your what do they say? Write the vision and make it plain. There you go. So you're just making it plain by writing it out. Let me see if this thing will work here. Let me see. Because sometimes this thing not to work. Nah, it's not. But it's okay. And and a lot of it is all in which you gravitate towards. Like there are thousands of people online doing tarot if that's what you like, or oracle cards, or people calling themselves prophets and ministers, and all of that good stuff. Are they legit? I mean, a few are, a lot aren't. But hey, I mean, again, that's where your discernment comes in. A lot of people got bad hearts and bad spirits out here, man. Seriously. So, um, even it's nowadays you have to kind of be aware of what you're ingesting by scrolling social media or watching on the news, and a lot of this stuff can be really triggering. It really can, especially in the times that we're living in now. So always always keep your full spiritual armor on at all times, man. Always ask for your always always ask for your those kids used to say it in the school. That's funny. um yeah, there we go. Yeah, so always ask, always, yeah, it's like saying, ask and it shall be given. Knock and the door shall be open. So it's sometimes, sometimes it can be very, very, very simple. It's like you're trying to change the channel for the TV and you're like, why isn't this stupid remote working? Maybe you just need to change the batteries. So it could be something as, it could be something as, sometimes it's sometimes it's good to get a fresh perspective, from a different vantage point, and maybe from someone else that you trust. But ooh, that trust thing. How that song go? Friends, how many of us have? Wait, friends, how many of us have them? Oof, man. Yeah. But all I'm saying is that your um a lot of times is how you see it. Your your spiritual journey is not, it's not a bad thing. Like I've had to figure out so much stuff. Really, I really and truly had to figure out like so much stuff. It's like I had to figure out I had to figure out a hierarchy. Like, what does all of this mean? It was like there was a time where I was going through like this journey, and it was my like Kemetic or Egyptian ancestors that were with me, and all I was doing was messing with my Egyptian tarot cards or my Egyptian oracle cards, and it was just like that pantheon in my dreams were just my dreams at that time was crazy, man. I was like, what on earth is this? It was like, Lord. And like I would find myself in ancient times around these pyramids, and like it was, man, it was interesting. I will say that it was very, very, very much so interesting. And it's very unique to it's very unique to go through these reawakenings, this process, be it in real life, real times in your dreams, where people are talking about, maybe like astral projection, like in your dreams, people are saying you're awake and you should never ask somebody the time, or um, something like that. Where you're almost what they call it, lucid dreaming. There you go. Where you're where you're in the dream, but it's almost like that movie Inception. It's almost like where you're in the dream, but you have you have control. and you're it's like it's like you're awake, and even and even in these dreams, you're having these very impressive awakenings, and there's some serious power in the as my as a good friend of mine says, is in the astral, or in the dream realm. There's a very, very serious power. But if you are one who likes to travel in your dreams, and you have like control and all of that stuff like that, and you can do it too by just kind of like meditating, but never go alone. Let me just say that. Never go alone. Always, always have, always go with a buddy. It's almost like if you're learning how to swim, they say, you're whoever say, hey, stay, stay in the shallows, but never go alone. Have your ancestors with you, or your angel guides, so you always, so you always have that backup, So I'll leave y'all with that. Like for because man, whew, wow. Yeah, but it's it can feel like so much. It can be so much. It's so much that helps you. It's so much that helps you get in tune, and for the present, and for the things, and a lot of it is for the journey yet to come. And we're talking about we're probably just talking about like your spiritual, like your spiritual gifts, your awareness. It's like it in a sense, it starts to become like 360. That's why people say, when you're walking, try to be aware of your surroundings, because a lot of us, we're we're going, I don't know, you're driving in the car, you're looking at your phone, you're walking somewhere, you're looking at your phone, and you're building whatever elevator, you're looking at your phone, so but your your gifts help with your spatial awareness, and sometimes it's good to put these phones down. Especially if you're especially if you're like moving around, or sometimes if you're not, but anyway, um yeah, so but your gifts really do help with your gifts really do help with your spatial awareness. They really, really truly do. um Help you to become more empathic, empathetic, um and yeah, and seriously aware of what's like you may get these feelings, these inclinations of, oh man, I have a feeling that like, I don't know, something, I might, you're thinking of someone, they call you, or you're thinking about something, you check your email, and it's right there, so everybody doesn't have this. That's what I'm saying. It's like these are gifts. Everybody doesn't have this. Like, I feel like a lot of people have like this baseline intuition. A lot of people just cut it off. These are people that just like just whatever people, the like, as people say, these are the NPCs in the world, people who just like go to Starbucks, go to work, talk about the weather, and sports, and maybe their investments, and the moving up in the company, and and all of that stuff like that. But I really feel like a lot of when you see people from these rag to riches stories, these people who become like billionaires, they did. I feel like they've done something. How much time do I spend? That's Oh wow, that's a great question. I'd say maybe like after work, I'd say about an hour or two, and even before work, I'd say about I'd say about an hour or two, just to kind of reflect on the day, just to kind of focus, to get my mind right, and all of that good stuff like that. And especially, for me, sometimes I wake up like, um, I don't know, like 12 midnight, 1, 2, 3 in the morning, and I'm just up for whatever reason. I'm just up, and that's um, what do they call it? Church. They said the midnight hour. Spiritually, they say the witching hour, but that's a great time to like manifest and um, kind of play around with your gifts and all of that good, all of that good stuff. So yeah, but especially to manifest, to call things in. Uh, really and truly, like especially to manifest to like call things in. To really and truly like call things in around that, around that time. So, I find myself around time, just like praying or I don't, meditating or, just things like that, or just scrolling or just doing research on social media or, whatever it is or whatever, whatever it may be, around that time. But, we're going to see some incredible things, moving forward, like really and truly. You're gonna see some, like on the news, on social media, um, because we're in a time with AI, and a lot of people are like, oh, that, and a lot of people aren't gonna believe it. Like, you know how it goes. A lot of people don't believe stuff until it like shows up right in front of their face. That's just how some people are. It's like, oh, those, there are no such things as UFOs, or there's no life in other realities. They don't believe in stuff like that. They don't believe like there's anything in the ocean or whatever in these bodies of waters other than like I don't know, you know, fish or sharks or whales or like the basic stuff you might see on Animal Planet or the Discovery Channel about nature and all of that stuff like that. But you're gonna see some um unimaginable supernatural stuff in the next coming weeks, and years and all of that good stuff, until it comes to the crescendo, but yeah. But but hey, I'm again, I'm not one to push stuff on people. You believe in what you want to believe in. You live your you live your life accordingly. Can you I really feel that a lot of the stuff that we go through is not it's for us, but it's for us to go out and to help other people, really and truly. But um a lot of people don't act or react until it's kind of too late. So you try to tell people about certain things, and that's for this, or that's for that. They're like, a lot of people already have their minds made up about stuff, and that's just what it is. They're stuck in where they are. They're not gonna, so if you're the different one in your family, you kind of know what time it is. You know what I mean? It's like when they say like people will talk about these Hollywood parties, they will say you can go, but don't, what do they say, leave before midnight or leave before the devil gets there or something like that. Because they said like after midnight to go in certain rooms to see certain stuff and all of that stuff like that. But you always walk within, you always walk within your power. You always walk um, within your unimaginable foresight. You always have um, right. Right. So you're always walking with in the right hand of God, or your ancestors, or whoever it is, whoever it is that you choose to walk with, and you have a lot of power. Some of it sometimes feels like it's kind of sealed away, but those layers, as as you continue to go, you continue to grow, those layers really and truly start to, those layers start to peel back. They do, and you learn from like previous times that you did certain things. So if you have to do it again, then it's that much more of a smoother journey. Like if you're on a new job, certain people, supervisors, they don't bother you. Because they're like, man, you're so like, I don't know. It's like, that they'll try to, you know like, it's like they'll look at you, but it's like they won't get it. They won't get you. It's like you're just kind of calm, cool, and collected. You're smooth. You just go there, do what you have to do, and you're out. Just like you show up. One day you disappear, and you're off to bigger and better things because while you're there, you're continuously manifesting around that to get, I don't know, to move up in that job or to get something greater and better than that. Or you're just there because you need that money to plant seeds in other places. And, those seeds are really and truly about to bring in an amazing harvest in your life, So it's going to be a lot of, like, yeah, just asking, was like, oh, cool, like you'll be sitting out thinking like, oh man, wow, it would really be cool if I got a promotion at my job and they call you in the office, just out the blue, and they're like, oh man, we've really been. You think you're in trouble, but you're like, oh man, what did I do this time? And you walk in there, and it's like, yeah, hey, such and such is retiring next week. We want to know if you would like to take their spot, and we would really like to put you in such and such a spot. This is just from, I mean, how you carry yourself, how you walk, how you show up, and you're just being yourself. Because you're not, you don't get caught up in the drama like everybody else, because you're all about your money. You're all about your money, and you're all about your elevation. And these things for you are conceptually just kind of like they just happen. Maybe because it's maybe you don't even want the position. You might say, you might just look at like, wow, they made how much, you know, and you look at that person like, wow, that person didn't even do anything. Man, I could do that. And you just continue to move forward. You're like, okay, cool, I can do this. I may not want to do it for that long. I can just do this for a little while. So yeah, you do have promotion. Um, you do have promotion coming in. It's like somebody said, be careful of the company that you keep. Even though things are a little trying out here for some people, it's not like the end for you. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people, like, oh, I can't find this, I can't find that. Oh, woe is me. So just be mindful of just kind of be mindful of your thoughts. Like really and truly be mindful of your thoughts. And when you are people, like people are really gonna want to know like how like man how did you do this like how like how did you like literally just I heard a girl talking about this on social media. She said like people like you'll be in your XYZ little town in whatever city you're in, and it's almost like you're whatever or something you're doing not horrible, but you're kind of plateaued, and you're miserable, and then you move, everything changes about your life. It's like bigger house, changing your clothes, your mentality is different, who you're hanging out with is different. It's like your status just like it's like just like your status just blows up because you were sleeping, you had a dream, something told you to like get up and move. Oh, and if this is your first time watching, don't forget to subscribe. Something just told you in your dream to just get up and move. And like the interesting individual that you are, you just got up and you were obedient, you obeyed, you know, and you might say, well, God, when? Now. You know, you get up, you pack your stuff, get a U-Haul, and you're gone. You know, and you know, you get to your new city, stuff just starts falling into place. You know, I remember when I first moved, and this was like 2010, like 2000, the end of 2009. I remember when I first came to Texas, I didn't have a job, to, you know, I didn't have anything lined up. I started looking before I came here, but you know, when I came, when I came here, I drove all the way out here. I drove like dressed up. I think I went straight to the interview. Like I dropped my stuff off. I came early. I dropped my stuff off and I went straight to the interview. And then I got the job. So, you know, it wasn't something that I but you know, it's like you just have that mentality like, you know, like you know like it's gonna work out. You know beyond everything, you know beyond everything that it's gonna work out. You know, you can see the dominoes like it's not just seeing, but you can you're um yeah, so you can you can almost kind of see and feel like when the dominoes start to fall in society and stuff like that. You know, you're in your neighborhood, you see people moving out, so you just start buying the houses, you know, and it's like you own the block. You know what I mean? You like, uh, oh, well, thank you. You know, you just start to, it's it's like other people's resignations, how they just leave stuff. You know, that's gonna be how you're. You know, other people's. Oh, I'm going great. It's good to see you. I followed you on here. I'm gonna hit you up, but you know, it's like other people's resignations or how you build. You know, it's like almost from the ashes you build. You know, you can go and build this amazing. You know, it's like from the ashes you can build like this amazing. Oh yeah, man. You know, that's whatever path you walk in your life, you walk your path and you walk it brilliantly. You know, so I mean that didn't really bother me seriously. But you talking about a dude that I deal with angels and ancestors and other deities and gods and you know all of that stuff like that. So um, you know, yeah, but that's you know that's life, man. You know, but yeah, but you know you're gonna you know moving forward you're gonna take the time you're gonna have like new pursuits. You know, like you're really um you know you're really and truly gonna have like new pursuits that are coming in your life. Oh man, but you know the timing is really and truly gonna you know it's like the timing really and truly is gonna feel superiorly immaculate for you know for what you have coming you know in your life and how all of it is like you know for how all of it is going to be organized and you know like so on and so forth and the things that you're going to be able to see and do and how you're going to be able to like you know transpose so to speak but you know like very soon you're going to be able to like really and truly elevate and you're going to be able to like you're gonna feel masterful in how you pray, how you manifest, how you call like these extraordinary, like life changing things, and for you, and it's like the few people around you are, like they're gonna get that overflow of, cause for all of that stuff. I remember during the pandemic, you told me that everything was gonna. Yeah, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember. Yep, I remember your. Yeah, I remember that, man. Hmm. Yeah, I do. I remember that. But you were one thing with that. Like you were faithful during that journey. You were. And um, hey, how are you? The hmm It's like that song says. That gospel song. That lady says. Not much longer now. Things about to shift quickly. And yeah, man, things are, yeah. So it's an amazing feeling. Sometimes we need to hear this daily. We do. We need to hear this daily because I. Oh, hey, how are you? Welcome back. Yeah, so a lot of times we need to hear these things daily because we see the type there's craziness happening all over the world. So it's not just like one country that's going through something. It's there's a lot of stuff shifting, everywhere, it'll it's mind blowing the times that we're living in, really and truly. So but even even with that, it's almost like you have this even with that, you have like you have this like this supernatural design over, you have this glow about you over your life. You have like this supernatural design. It's almost like if you were it's almost like going to the layout of a building. It looks the same on the outside, but when you walk in, it's one day it looks like this, the next day it looks like that, and it's like new floors, new this, new that, and it's like you walk in, you walk back out, and you like, wait, is this the same building? Um, you're like, is this the same building that because it's like everything within you shifts and it shapes and you're it's like yeah, like, and you're even like within the next 60 days, for here in the States it's the summertime, wherever you are, but in the next 60 days you're gonna see you're gonna see how you really and truly are gonna start to see how you're gonna see miraculously how your life changes, like really and truly. You're gonna see the supernatural transformations in your life. So whatever you're doing, can continue to do it. Uh, continue to do it. Uh, continue to do it as you do it, because you're up for something like grand, like really, 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 really grand, like really, really, really grand. It's like there's something you're Yeah, yeah. I think we can all do for a great change at this point. Like really and truly, I think we're all like we've been ready. Thank y'all for showing up, and thank y'all for liking the live. So um, but yeah, so there's almost like there's almost like there's this invite. It's like saying by invitation only, but something that you're going to see. You may apply for it, but you're gonna get something, something that you're gonna get invited for. Um, hey, how are you, ma'am? How are you doing? It's like, something that you're going to see, somebody's going to see in you. Um, so you're looking at it's almost like a chain reaction of effects, but something that's going to get you invited to something that's going to help to elevate you. And it's like fast forwarding. Everything else after that comes by surprise, because yeah. Not a bad surprise, not a bad surprise, but these are changes. These are things that you have been looking for. These are things that you've been looking forward to in your life for a while now, and you're like, man, I can't believe this is happening so fast. And like Miss Gloria was saying, something things that just kind of happen like really, really, really fast. So yeah, but things that you are, things that people like, like people are just gonna act like, how did you get that position? How were you able to afford to move into that neighborhood? And you know, um, just asking us, a simple yes, obedience. All of these things come into play. All of the stuff that you've gone through, and all of that, but irreversible changes in your life that uproot your health, like better health, a smile on your face every day, like really and truly, like people are like, wow, you look so happy. It's like right, people are like, man, it's like, wow, look at you, man, like you're glowing. It's like people are gonna, I don't know, how people think, when they can't figure it out. They're like, oh my goodness, why it's like, man, like what's going on? Can I have some? You're like, well, and you know how it is. You can't like naturally tell everybody everything, and you're not supposed to. But whew, yeah, um, but yeah, your name is it's like your name is shifting more, like relevant. How sometimes people say, oh, I'm thinking about something, but I just can't put my finger, like it's on the tip of my tongue. Your name is on the tip of people's tongue, the tip of your name is on the tip of people's tongue, of the tip of people's tongues. So um and no more are the days for you to get passed over and bypassed and whatever. And people gonna be like, wow, I can't believe you were sitting here under our nose the whole time. You're just gonna be looking at them like, yeah, yeah, I know. Not in a cocky or demeaning way, but who you are, that's just who you walk with. You walk with him, you walk with an amazing supernatural spiritual army, around you, above you, and so on and so forth. It's like it's almost like you can't. It's almost like your purpose moving forward. It's like you can't lose. You cannot lose. It's like you cannot lose. You can't. There's just no it's like, so it is written, so shall it be. So it's like it's written in the book. You can't lose. Tell you, it's not. It's just, yeah. So, but yeah. But yeah, man. But all right, y'all. That's I think, yeah, that's pretty much I think that's all I have for the day. Sitting here. I just so happen to be off today, so I say, you know what? Let me go live. hey, what's going on? So I was like, yeah, let me go. But yeah, if this is your first time watching, yours truly again. Don't forget to subscribe and all of that good stuff. And yeah, man, thank y'all so much for hanging out. And I will catch you guys later on. All right, man. Y'all enjoy y'all Tuesday. Seriously. All right, y'all. Peace.